These are the new products from Aputure.
Cinema 5D at NAB 2018 is brought to you by B&H, the professional source for all your video needs. CVP, your one-stop shop for cine, video, photo, and more. Blackmagic Design, creating amazing solutions for film, post-production, and television. And Sigma, the art in every lens.
Hi, this is Nino from Cinema 5D here at NAB 2018 at the Aperture booth with Ted. Hi Ted, how are you?
What's going on?
So, what's new?
So, we have the new 120D Mark II. This is everything that everyone loved about the previous 120D. Bowens mount, battery powerful, super, super bright. Now the 120D Mark II is 30% brighter, same form factor and design. On the side here, we are taking user feedback and we are implementing it. Handbrake style yoke here that can now be underslung, again, totally from user feedback. So if I want, I can take this reflector off, undersling the entire thing, just like that. Super, super simple design changes here. Tougher mount, tougher threads. Everything is getting ready for rental and feature films.
So what is the power consumption on this now that it's 30% brighter?
Now that it's 30% brighter, it's just going to pull 20 watts more power, so approximately 140 watts of power total. Now on the bottom here, this is my favorite increase, is that we are now combining the power box and controller box in one. So now there's no longer three pieces to the light, it's just one controller box and power adapter together, all aircraft aluminum. Nutric cable locks, 6-meter long cables on our ship standard. Again, these are things that our users have asked us for. Sometimes they move the light it used to unplug on the previous 120D. Now cable locks, color-coded cable locks. DMX has been added back to the 120D. So the Mark II has 5-pin DMX on the bottom, and of course color-coded cables on the top. You'll see the red here.
Awesome. What else?
In terms of, on the back, it's still everything that you loved about your previous 120D, V-mount or Anton Bauer backings, wireless control. I can turn this light on and off with a remote, strike it off from 100 meters away, so a whole football field's distance. Dimmable, I can now dim this light underneath 10%.
Oh, that's really important because that's my biggest issue with LEDs, that they are starting out too bright.
Absolutely. Now we can dim beneath 10%. We can go all the way to 9, 8, 1. I can get a super, super low amount of luminance coming out of this light. This will be shipping approximately August. Should be available for about $745. So still, with Aperture, we're always trying to make it really affordable.
Awesome.
Right on. So moving on to our next announcement here. This one I'm really excited about because, again, the thing about the Bowens mount is that you can use any photo accessory on a standard cinema light. You can use photo shaping accessories like soft boxes or beauty dishes or space lights. So prior to this, the 120D is already a hard light. It can be made a soft light with a soft box. It can be a space light, an area light. And now, with the new Helico mount, that'll basically be a Bowens mount on the front here, I can snap my 120D or 300D into this new ellipsoidal mount. If you guys are familiar with Helico lights or Source 4 lights or Joe Licos or anything like that, this is a really, really powerful tool because now the 120D is just that much more modular. Take this one light, put this on, and now I can project light. I'm going to crank that up so you can see what we're talking about here.
Oh, wow.
Open that up, and on the wall, I've got a clean circle that I can now project.
That's super annoying for the other exhibitors.
Yes, it is super annoying for the other exhibitors, but we're Aperture, and I don't care. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry, exhibitors. Interchangeable lenses here, 19 degrees, 26 degrees, which is in right now, and a 36-degree lens. You can see the edges there. I can focus this light as well. But Nino, the big thing about these lights is usually color fringing around the edges. And again, I know it's kind of hard to see on camera, but super, super clean edges on this. You're not seeing any blue, you're not seeing any magenta like a lot of Joe Licos out there. As far as actual shaping goes, I've got these barn door leaves that I can pull in for really, really hard slashes. Super, super hard shapeable slashes of light. And I really have total control now. This is basically lighting in stages that has really only been reserved for high-end filmmakers or rental houses. We're giving this technology to independent filmmakers. Really excited. This should be coming out before the end of the year. We think it's going to be priced for about $400. Now, I didn't mention the last feature here. The last feature here is that this also accepts Gobos. So all I have to do to accept a Gobo is put this into the top here. We have an Aperture Gobo, as you can see today, so I'm going to put that in right now. Going to focus that light. And bang, now what I can do here is I can use any kind of checkered boards or window blinds or anything like that. I can focus that light in. This is essentially La La Land style lighting that we're giving to filmmakers. This is really, you can put branches in there, water effects, ripples, fire, happy birthday in writing. You can get as precise as you want with your lighting now with the new Helico mount. Again, taking that 120D and 300D one step further.
Very cool.
Cool.
You have a side note to mention as well, right?
I do have a side note to mention. Well, we got a couple other products that I'll run through really fast. I'll promise, Lego, I won't take up the Cinema 5D users' very valuable time here. New Light Dome Mark II can be set up in 2 seconds. It can be broken down in 4 seconds. 3 stages of diffusion that I can interchange, half frost, full frost, and magic cloth. It's also 32 sides now instead of 16, so it's super, super circular for that perfect ellipsoidal light. There's also a Light Dome Mini that can break down in the same way. We got a gel holder that snaps right onto the front, so you can now gel the Light Dome without having to fiddle or mess with your gels anymore. Those will be available in the next 2 to 3 months. Should be priced for about $200 for the big Light Dome, $150 for the mini dome. We've got Aputure barn doors that we've made. There's a ton of new stuff here. Barn doors for the 120D and the 300D. And of course, Chimera now is also making light banks for the LS1 and the LS1C. So if you're curious about those, you can see those as well. As far as the final footnote goes, I know a lot of people were wondering about Aputure RGB from us. So one of the things that we showed at NAB, it was in a glass case the entire first day, but we finally revealed it for friends, of course, is the Aputure RGB light. This is not a release, this is not an announcement, this is not a product, so please do not ask me about availability on this. We're just showing people that we can do a fully functioning RGB light. We had people come, put their hands on it, test it. We can do full spectrum, hue, saturation, vibrance. We can do programmable gels. We can do the entire Roscoe line. We can do it. In fact, we had a measurement get taken by someone else, TLCI and CRI 99. So we can do this light really, really well. Puts out the output of a 500, 600 watt tungsten light, aircraft grade aluminum, but we're not releasing it because at NAB we were trying to have a prototype of our new light ready. And what the new light is actually the controller box for the new RGB light. And that right there is called the Aputure Color Picker. The idea for the Aputure Color Picker is that, and again, we can't do this now, but in the future you'll be able to point this remote at light sources, either reflected light sources or direct light sources, and you'll be able to scan those colors and automatically have your light recreate them. So I could go outside and shoot a grassy field and my light will turn grassy green. I could point a TV screen and the TV screen would change hue and saturation, all of those effects immediately. I would be able to point a fire, I could record a fire and replay that fire. If I'm walking into a dirty office with fluorescent lighting, I can match that green or that magenta shift. Again, as far as what we actually have that works now, we have a fully functioning RGB light. We have a color scanner that can scan colors, that does send the data, and the actual light will register and say what the color is when we scan it. At this point, it's just mapping the colors, which I know sounds short. It's not a short wait. Everything in manufacturing takes time. It's R&D, but we are working on it. This is something that we think we can do in the future. And I guess what we're asking for is we're asking for patience.
Awesome. Looking forward to that new product. Hopefully next NAB, maybe before.
I can't give any release
all
dates
right.
or times or
we'll
prices
see.
or anything like that, Nino.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Anyway, thanks for all the news. That was a lot. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching. This is Cinema 5D at NAB 2018. And stay tuned for more news from the show.
Thanks so much.